Okay, I have to ask. When was the last time you genuinely panicked in English? And I don't mean just oh no. I forgot a word panicked. I mean full. Body. Heart. Racing. Sweat. On. The. Forehead panicked.
Oh, wow. Starting strong today. Sophia. I think it was about 2 months ago. I was traveling for work.
Traveling? That is always a goldmine for language disasters. Where were you going?
Chicago. It was my first time visiting the US for a conference. I was so excited. But also, the pressure was on. I had to network, I had to present, and I had to survive the airport.
Survive the airport. I feel that. Airports are stressful even in your native language.
Exactly. And everything was fine until I got to the hotel. It was late, maybe 11 at night. I had been traveling for 14 hours. My brain was basically mush. I got to my room, dropped my bags, and turned on the air conditioning.
Let me guess. The air conditioning had other plans.
It did. It wasn't just making a noise. It sounded like a dying robot. A loud, rhythmic clicking, followed by this high, pitched whining sound. I couldn't sleep. So, I picked up the phone and called the front desk.
Okay? Late at night. Exhausted. Dealing with a noisy machine. This is a classic setup. What did you want to say to them?
I just wanted to say, hello. The air conditioning in my room is making a weird noise, and I can't sleep. Can someone please look at it? Simple, right?
Very simple. Very clear.
But my brain circuited. I was so tired, and I was trying to translate directly from my language, and I panicked. I picked up the phone. The receptionist answered, and I said, hello. My room is singing.
Your room is singing.
Yes,
Alex? No.
I said it. Hello. My room is singing. It is very loud. Please stop the music.
I am losing my mind. What did the poor receptionist say to that?
There was a long pause. I could hear him typing on his keyboard. And then he said, very slowly, Sir, is the television on? And I said, no, the wall is singing.
The wall is singing. Oh my gosh. I can't breathe.
It gets worse. He said, okay, sir, I will send someone to listen to the wall. And I just hung up. I felt so stupid. I spent the next 20 minutes pacing the room, rehearsing the correct sentence. The air conditioning is broken. The AC is noisy. But the damage was done. I was the crazy guy in room 4112 whose wall was singing.
Okay? First of all, that is hilarious. Second of all, I promise you, hotel staff have heard much worse. I once heard a story about a guest who tried to say his shower was leaking, but said his shower was leaving.
Leaving? Like it packed its bags and walked out.
Exactly. My shower is leaving. Please come quickly. The point is, Alex, you were exhausted. Your brain was in survival mode. When we are tired, our second language is the first thing to disappear.
I know that logically. But in the moment, you feel like a child? You have a master's degree. You manage a team of 10 people, but you can't explain that a machine is making a noise. It's humiliating.
I hear you. It's that gap between your actual intelligence and your ability to express it. But let's look at what actually happened. Did the maintenance guy come?
Yes. He came 10 minutes later. He listened to the AC, nodded very seriously, and said, "Yeah, that's a bad bearing in the fan." He fixed it in 5 minutes. And you know what? He didn't laugh. He just said, "You're all set, sir. Get some rest."
See? He was a professional. He didn't care about the grammar. He cared about solving the problem. And you got the problem solved? That is a successful communication, even if the vocabulary was a little musical.
I guess so. But it made me realize how much I rely on memorized phrases. When I am at home, I can prepare. I can write emails. I can rehearse what I'm going to say in a meeting. But travel? Travel is unpredictable.
That is so true. Travel throws you into the deep end. You can't script a conversation with a customs officer or a taxi driver.
Right. And it's not just the vocabulary. It's the speed. People talk so fast. At the airport, the guy at the counter asked me something, and it sounded like one long word. "Do you have any bags to check today?"
Do you have any bags to check today?
Yes, but in real time. It's just a blur of sound. And my standard response is just to smile and say, "Yes," even if I didn't understand the question.
Oh, the polite nod. The universal sign of, I have no idea what you just said, but I don't want to cause a scene.
Exactly. And then you get to the gate, and you realize you were supposed to ask if your bag goes all the way to the final destination. And now you're standing there sweating, wondering if your suitcase is currently in Denver.
Which, by the way, is a great phrase. Does this bag go all the way to my final destination? That's a very natural B2 level travel phrase.
I'm writing that down. Does this bag go all the way to my final destination?
Perfect. And if you don't understand someone, it is completely okay to say, I'm sorry. Could you say that a little slower? Or could you repeat that? Please.
I know I should say that. But there is this pressure. You feel like you're holding up the line. You see the 3 people behind you sighing, and you just want to disappear.
I get that. But honestly, most people are very patient if you are polite. And if they sigh, that's their problem, not yours. You are paying for a service, and you have the right to understand what is happening.
That's a good mindset. I need to adopt that. Their sighing is their problem.
Exactly. Own your space. Now, since we are on the topic of travel and hotels, I want to try something. Let's go back to that night in Chicago. But this time, let's rewrite the script.
Oh no. Role play. My favorite.
Come on. It'll be fun. I'm going to be the night receptionist. You are calling from room 4112. The AC is making a terrible noise. But this time, you're not going to say the room is singing. You are going to use a professional, clear, and polite structure.
Okay, I can do this.
Remember the framework we talked about in the last episode? Cushion, reality, alternative. Or in this case, cushion, reality, request. Start with a polite opening.
Okay. Pretends to hold a phone. Hello. Front desk.
Good evening. This is the front desk. How can I help you?
Hi. I'm so sorry to bother you this late.
Great cushion. Very polite. Now, the reality. What is the actual problem? Keep it simple.
I am in room 412, and the air conditioning is making a very loud, strange noise.
Perfect. Strange noise is excellent. Much better than singing. Now, the request. What do you want them to do?
I can't sleep. Is it possible for someone to come and check it? Please?
Is it possible for someone to come and check it? Alex, that is flawless. It's polite. It's clear. And it uses a great natural structure. Is it possible to?
Really? It didn't sound too demanding?
Not at all. It sounded like a reasonable adult asking for a reasonable service. If you had said, "Come fix my AC now," that would be demanding. But is it possible for someone to check it? Is perfect.
Wow. Okay. I actually feel better about that. It's just a matter of having the right template in my head before I pick up the phone.
Exactly. And the more you practice these templates, the more automatic they become. You won't have to think about the grammar. You'll just react.
But what if they say no? What if the receptionist says, "Sorry, maintenance is closed. You have to wait until morning?"
Then you negotiate. You say, "I understand, but the noise is really disruptive. Is there any other room available? Even for just tonight?"
Is there any other room available? I like that. It's direct but still polite.
Yes, you are advocating for yourself without being aggressive. That is the sweet spot of professional English.
It's funny, because in my language, I can be very firm. I can say, "This is unacceptable. I need a solution." But in English, I feel like if I'm too firm, I will sound rude or angry.
That is a very common cultural difference. In American English, we soften our requests with words like just, a little, or I was wondering. For example, instead of I need a new room, we say, I was wondering if there might be another room available.
I was wondering if... That sounds so gentle.
It is. It's a great phrase to have in your back pocket. I was wondering if you could help me with something. It immediately puts the other person in a helpful mood.
I'm definitely stealing that. I was wondering if...
Steal it? Use it? Make it yours. Now, let's talk about another travel nightmare. Packing.
Oh, don't get me started. I am a chronic overpacker.
Let me guess. You pack for every possible scenario, including a sudden blizzard and a formal gala, even if you are going to a beach resort.
Pretty much. I always think, what if I need a suit? What if it gets cold? And then I end up dragging this massive suitcase through the airport. And I only wear 3 of the same outfits the entire trip.
The classic traveler's dilemma. You pack for the fantasy version of your trip, not the reality.
Yes, the fantasy version. And then I get to the hotel. And I realize I forgot the one thing I actually needed. Like a universal power adapter.
Oh, the power adapter struggle is real. I once spent 20 minutes in a hotel lobby in London trying to explain that I needed an adapter for a US plug. And the concierge kept handing me extension cords.
Yes, an extension cord does not change the shape of the plug.
I know. I was like, no. I need the thing that makes the flat pins fit into the round holes. And he just looked at me like I was speaking alien.
That is exactly it. You know what the object is. You know what it does, but the specific noun is gone. So you have to describe it like a caveman. The thing for the electricity, for the computer, to make it alive.
To make it alive. I love that. But see, that's circumlocution again. You are describing the function because the label is missing? And guess what? It works. The concierge eventually figured it out.
He did. He brought me the right thing. But it took 20 minutes of me waving my hands and making plugging motions.
And that is a victory. You communicated your need. And you solved the problem. It wasn't elegant, but it was effective.
I suppose so. It's just hard to let go of the idea that I should sound smooth and professional all the time.
Alex, listen to me. Smooth and professional is overrated. Authentic and effective is what actually matters. People connect with authenticity. If you wave your hands and say, I need the thing to make my computer alive, the receptionist is going to remember that. They might even smile. And a smile goes a long way when you're asking for a favor.
That's a really nice way to look at it. I usually just feel embarrassed.
Embarrassment is just your ego talking. Your ego wants you to be perfect. But your goal is to communicate. Let the ego take a back seat.
Let the ego take a back seat. I like that. I'm going to write that on a sticky note and put it on my laptop.
Please do. And maybe put it on your suitcase, too, so you remember it when you're dragging it through the airport.
Good idea. Now, since we are talking about airport struggles, I want to turn the tables. Let's do a rapid fire scenario game. But this time, it's travel disasters.
Oh, I'm ready. I have survived many travel disasters. Hit me.
Scenario 1. You are at the security checkpoint, and they tell you to take out your laptop. But your bag is a complete mess, and you can't find it. What do you say to the person behind you who is clearly getting annoyed?
I would turn around, smile, and say, I am so sorry. My bag is currently a black hole. Give me 10 seconds.
Good. Takes the pressure off, acknowledges the delay, and moves on. Scenario 2. You board the plane, and you realize you are sitting next to someone who immediately starts talking to you non-stop, and you just want to sleep.
I put on my biggest, most obvious noise, canceling headphones, give a polite but firm smile, and say, it was so nice to meet you. But I'm going to catch up on some sleep now. Have a great flight.
Firm but polite. I like it. Scenario 3. You arrive at your destination. You go to the baggage claim, and your suitcase is not on the carousel. It's just not there.
Okay. That's a real stressor. I would take a deep breath, walk straight to the baggage service desk, and say, "Hi, my bag didn't come out on this flight. Can we start a trace for it?"
Start a trace. That sounds very professional. Much better than my bag is gone. Help.
Exactly. Start a trace or file a report are great. Natural phrases to use in that situation. It shows you know the process, even if you're panicking inside.
Okay. Last one. This is the ultimate test. You are in a taxi, and the driver is taking a route that you are 90% sure is wrong. But your phone is dead, so you can't check the map.
Oh, that is a scary feeling. I would lean forward and say, "Excuse me, I think we might be heading the wrong way. I was expecting to go down Main Street. Could you pull over for a second so I can check my directions?"
Could you pull over for a second? That is perfect. It's not an accusation. It's a request for a pause.
Exactly. You never want to accuse a taxi driver of scamming you, even if you suspect it. You just ask for a pause to check your directions. It saves face for everyone.
You are really good at this. I feel like I should be paying you for these scripts.
I accept payment in the form of good coffee and funny stories.
Deal. But seriously, Sophia, this conversation is helping me a lot. I think my biggest takeaway is that I don't need to have a perfect, native, level response to every problem. I just need a few reliable, polite phrases that can get me through the situation.
That is the absolute truth. Fluency isn't about knowing every single word in the dictionary. Fluency is about being able to navigate the world, solve problems, and connect with people, even when you make mistakes.
Even when my room is singing.
Especially when your room is singing. That's a great story. Alex, you should tell that at your next conference.
Maybe I will. How to survive international business travel. Step 1. Don't let your walls sing.
I love it. All right. Everyone, that is going to do it for today's episode. If you're traveling soon, or just navigating the daily challenges of using English at work, remember to be kind to yourself. You're doing great.
And if your air conditioning starts making a weird noise, just remember, it's not singing. It's just a bad bearing in the fan.
Exactly. We will see you all next time. Bye, Alex.
Bye, Sophia.